Good morning. What? Why did you come early? What are you doing? I was helping with the cleaning so that everyone can work comfortably. We have cleaners. But I think it's important to feel like I'm also taking care of this hospital since I use it too. Just so you know, trying to get on our good side by doing janitor work won't earn you any points. It's not that easy to get recognized by the people working here. I became a research doctor at the request of Professor Johnson. However, one of the nurses, Jessica, didn't like me and would often berate me. But aside from her, my daily actions were appreciated by others, and I gradually started to gain recognition. Even though my research results weren't that impressive yet and I could have been criticized, I often got praised for working hard every day. And since I was still young, the older staff would take a liking to me. Then one day, "Hey, are you free next Saturday? Some of the nurses are planning a mixer, and we were wondering if you'd like to join." My senior colleague, Emily, invited me. What? A mixer? Yeah, they said they're bringing some girls, so we need to bring 3 guys. What do you think? Well, I've never been to a mixer before, so I'm not sure if I can handle it. It's not a serious mixer, so don't worry too much. Besides, you hardly get a chance to meet girls with all your work, right? We're medical professionals, so we'll be popular. Just think of it as a casual party with some new people. Ah, okay. To be honest, I had never had a girlfriend and had always been focused on studying. I had never talked to girls much, let alone gone to a mixer. I was extremely nervous, but I didn't have the courage to refuse Emily's invitation. Emily asked me in the morning, but I couldn't concentrate on work at all that day, and by the evening, I was still nervous. We headed to the venue together, and I'm sure she could tell how anxious I was. Emily reassured me, and when we arrived at the place, "Emily, this is the guy you brought?" "Sure, he's somewhat good-looking, but isn't there anyone better you could have brought?" "Well, it's not that serious of a mixer. I thought it would be nice to give him a chance to talk to some girls since he works so hard." I expected this kind of reaction. And so the mixer began. After the introductions, I struggled to initiate conversation, but thanks to Emily and the others, the mixer was lively. As I started to relax and enjoy myself a bit, "Ah!" a scream from a waiter echoed through the restaurant, and the place fell silent. I looked towards the waiter and saw a middle-aged man collapsed and foaming at the mouth. "Someone call an ambulance immediately. And bring some water, please. Hurry." I usually don't shout, but getting people to snap out of their panic requires a loud voice. Startled by my shout, the waiter quickly called the ambulance and brought the water. I had no idea what was wrong, but I adjusted his position, checked his pulse, and provided basic first aid. "Is there anything we can do?" "Check if he has any companions here and look through his belongings. He might have a medical condition, and that will change how we treat him." "Oh, okay. My name is Chris, and I currently work as a research doctor at a university hospital. I started working at this hospital 3 years ago, after being headhunted from the hospital I was previously employed at. If you feel a strong attachment to your current hospital, I won't force you. But I've been a professor for many years. And I see tremendous potential in you. Of course, it's wonderful to help those in need now. But working as a research doctor could also be a path for your future." That's what Professor Johnson said to me. I'm truly honored by your words. However, I have many memories at my current hospital, and I haven't fully sorted out my feelings yet. I'm still undecided. Like I said, I won't force you. Take your time to think it over and get back to me when you're ready. Of course. Being recruited by a university hospital is indeed a great honor. It meant that my abilities as a doctor were recognized. I should have been proud, and I was, but there were reasons why I couldn't easily move. This goes back about 15 years, to when I was a child. I lost my father when I was young and was raised by my mother in a single-parent household. I was deeply grateful to my mother, and I believed that it was because of her that I became the person I am today. However, my mother also passed away when I was in middle school. She had a chronic illness that worsened, but she never showed how sick she really was in front of me. She suddenly collapsed one day, and despite being rushed to the hospital, it was too late. she passed away a month later. My mother was everything to me, and her presence had been my support. I wasn't a particularly strong person mentally, and losing her plunged me into despair. I spent my days not going to school and not talking to anyone. I was taken in by my mother's relatives and raised by them, but I always had my mother in my heart. My life felt empty until I graduated middle school. However, things changed when I entered high school and met a friend who changed my life. Your grades in the last midterm were amazing. How do you study? I don't do anything special. I just review what I learned in class and make sure I understand it. Then I review for about 10 minutes after I get home. Just that. You're a natural genius, Chris. I knew I was good at studying compared to others, but I never considered myself a genius. In fact, although my scores were higher, I admired his hard work and dedication. He once told me he didn't join any clubs to focus on his studies. He probably wanted to get into a good college, but I wondered what his motivation was. At first, it wasn't that great, so I was always curious. You're working so hard on your studies, what are your goals? I want to become a lawyer. My father almost got scammed once, but a lawyer helped us out. We couldn't afford to pay him. But he said helping people was his mission. Since then, I've wanted to become a lawyer to help people. Wonderful. I didn't say it out loud, but I truly felt that way deep down. Even though he's still a student, I was honestly envious of having such a clear vision for the future. I had lost my mother and lived without any purpose or energy. I was good at studying and thought getting good grades might help my future, but that was it. His influence made me start thinking about my own future. My strength was studying. I thought about how I could use my academic abilities to make a difference. My mother's memory came to mind. If I had medical knowledge, I might have noticed her condition earlier. I wanted to reduce the number of people who, like me, lost someone dear at a young age or suffered like my mother. It might sound grand, but I truly believed it was my mission. I worked hard towards becoming a doctor. I wasn't in a position to live a normal life. I couldn't ask my mother's relatives to pay for medical school, so I aimed to earn a scholarship with my grades. I'm aiming for first place in the finals. Of course, I'm planning on it too. I won't lose this time. We motivated and challenged each other. As a result, we consistently ranked at the top of our class and got into our first choice universities. I also received the scholarship I aimed for, which was a truly satisfying result. Though we parted ways, we still keep in touch and update each other on our lives. As a doctor and he as a lawyer, we continue to strive together. After graduation, I started working at a local hospital, excelling on the front lines as a doctor. This performance caught the attention of a university professor who reached out to me. So, I've been offered a position at a university hospital. I understand that a doctor's job isn't just about helping the patients in front of me. But, my reason for becoming a doctor was to help those immediate patients. I feel like this would deviate from that goal. I get what you're saying, but as a research doctor, you could potentially save thousands, even millions of future patients. Something you can't do as a clinical doctor. Well, that's true. If your goal is to help people, then you don't need to be particular about the method. You should fully utilize your abilities where they're needed most. Hearing his words, I decided to work at the university hospital. Looking forward to working with you. I'm really glad you decided to join. Let's work well together. Working as a researcher is different from working as a regular doctor. That's why I knew I needed to keep my focus and work hard. Every day was new and challenging, but it was a tough life. Hey, are you the new doctor? Haven't seen you around before. One of the nurses, Jessica, spoke to me. I joined a little while ago. I'm currently working as an assistant to Professor Johnson. Oh, so you're one of Johnson's connections? He's pretty lenient with his inner circle. Did you get in through connections too? Well, in a way, yes. I was recommended for this position, but I haven't proven myself yet. If that's the case, it's good manners to introduce yourself to everyone working here, don't you think? Not doing so would tarnish Professor Johnson's reputation. I'm very sorry. We may be nurses, but if you look down on us or underestimate us, you'll have a problem. Of course, I never look down on the nurses. Nurses have their unique role.